from Phoenix, Arizona, you're watching Extraordinary Lovers TV. Every week, we cover topics that transform the world and ourselves through pleasure. And now, your hosts, best-selling author and international Tantra teacher, Laurie Hammers, and creator of the Extraordinary Lovers Experience and sex and happiness coach, Michael Gibson.
Say that again.
Hi, everyone.
There we go.
So glad to be here today. Oh, my goodness. I won't be able to see anybody who's on. This thing is in my way.
Oh, that thing will get in your way anyway. But today is a very wild and exciting day, and we're excited to be with you again today. Lots of changes, lots of good things that are happening.
I was grouchy today.
You were? I didn't notice.
No, because it wasn't with you.
Oh.
Chrissy can tell you.
Chrissy can tell you.
Yeah, I was in a meeting with Chrissy earlier and Brianna, and I had to apologize for being grouchy.
Yeah, what up?
I'm never grouchy with you.
Well,
I am. Today we're talking about what causes problems in relationships, and don't you think grouchy?
Grouchy's one of them, yeah. I suppose.
Grouchy could be a problem.
Could definitely be a problem. I wonder. And by the way, who's here? Who do we got here today? Oh my gosh, we have Chrissy is here. Let's hope that we've got
Who's
all
that?
of. That's Chrissy, Exo Worthy Warrior.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm telling on myself, Chrissy. I have to be real.
Yeah,
if
you
I'm
do.
not real, it's ridiculous to live. I have to be real.
Well, and we all get a little grouchy sometimes, don't we?
I got grouchy because of the kind of day that I scheduled for myself.
Oh, today is an extremely busy. It's packed. But what other way to live life? I mean, welcome to your life. You're going to be look. We've got the TV show today, and then right after this, we have a Tantra festival.
We have the ISTA. ISTA festival, the ISTA online festival, and we got a sneak statistic from a fan of ours telling us that our session is the most pre-booked. Yeah, like we got more people than anyone else signed up for our session.
Which is really exciting and kind of humbling too to think about that people
my God, that's
really
what I was saying
want to spend time with us.
I was saying to him that how unhumble it was to know that.
Well, yeah.
That's because we make fun of that word. Anyway,
humbleness is kind of bullshit.
That we know ahead of time that we have the most bookings for our session, and not like it's a competition. I wouldn't have even looked, but someone told me, and it cracked me up. And but it's quite a day ahead of us, and then tonight I have Sex and Happiness Express.
Yeah.
So we can tell people about that too. We have a lot to tell people about. Oh my gosh,
today. Yeah. And is enrollment still open in the Express, or has it been closed?
No, enrollment is still open. Chrissy, you get to say too. Do you think enrollment is still open in the Sex and Happiness Express?
I don't know if she's gonna listen to you. You were grouchy with her earlier.
I think enrollment is still open.
Yeah.
Yes, she goes, ha ha ha, yes. It's still, thanks, Chrissy. I mean, you have to have some humor when you're working with us, and so and with me, because I fumble the ball a lot because there's so much going on. I was supposed to have an appointment with our wonderful Hope Anderson, and she didn't show up on Zoom, and that's probably because I screwed it up.
Oh no.
Yeah, so.
Oh no.
I said to Hope I take full responsibility. This is on me.
What a busy day. We had a lovely morning. We had a wonderful early morning. Just
Love fest.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. Well, the start of the day, right? But then I got grouchy. I would have rather done that all day.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you. In a heartbeat. I would have. Yeah. Well, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, we got to get up and move. That's really part of what it is that we do, is to get up and move in the morning.
It's been nasty lately in Phoenix, and so we haven't done it. Although I went outside this morning and gathered my laundry, which I hung up last night. So it wasn't that bad out. We could have gone outside and done hip-hop abs.
Yeah, but we did some other kind of abs.
We did sexy abs.
That was great. So, there it is. Well, that's how you, by the way, thank you, Chrissy, for putting that link into the chat. That really makes a difference. It helps. So, folks, if you look in the chat, you'll see the link for Sex and Happiness Express. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, I'm sorry, you're taking a drink.
That's right.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Sex and Happiness Express is?
Well, my colleague, Brianna Kribbeyer, and myself have been doing a 10-week journey since COVID started. Mm-hmm. We've been taking my book, Sex and Happiness, my best-selling book, and taking the laws of intimacy, which there are 10. And we've been doing a 10-week journey, one law per week. Mm-hmm. And then after this is we're just finishing the third course, the third journey 3. And some people wanted to do it. Yeah. And we're like, we don't have 10 weeks now because there's other things in the schedule. Yeah. And so we said, what are we going to do? Also, it's the prerequisite for my apprentice program. And some people want to be in the apprentice program and they've never been in the journey.
Yeah, and you have to be in the journey in order to be in the apprentice program.
Yeah, you have to get the paradigm in which I live. If you're going to be in my apprentice program, you got to get me.
Right.
So you got to get my paradigm. And these are the laws. Like, let me give a little background to the book. And I mean, this all sounds like, so what? So it does. So what I want to say is I wrote the book, Sex and Happiness, The Tantric Laws of Intimacy. It came out of my mouth. In the early days when I was teaching Tantra, Tantra teachers were not that responsible. So they taught people how to breathe together. They taught people how to eye gaze. They taught people how to cause bliss, both energetically and sexually. But they didn't talk about the things that were going to come up for people. And so out of my mouth in my courses came these laws. And I don't even know where it came from. I mean, it was what I thought was missing, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I created these 10 laws of intimacy and wrote the book, Sex and Happiness, The Tantric Laws of Intimacy. And then it was Brianna that had the idea to come up with a journey on the book. And so we're in our third successful journey. It's just going to end this next Tuesday coming up. And we've had over 100 participants of the course, the graduates of the course. Mm. And we've changed people's lives. Like, we've taught people how to actually deal with the things we're going to talk about today. The problems, what causes the problems in relationships. And it's because, you could be a Tantra practitioner. You could do breath, sound, and movement with yourself. Right. You could do breath, sound, and movement with another person. But things are going to come up from your unconscious. Things are going to come up that you haven't dealt with from the past. All your victimization is going to come up. Yeah. All the ways that you've been possibly irresponsible and haven't looked to see what is your responsibility in the matter of your life. And that's what I address in the book, and that's what we address in the journey. So all of a sudden, there were people who wanted to do it. And there were people who wanted to do the apprentice program, and they don't have this paradigm. How can they be my apprentice and not have my teachings? Mm-hmm. So we decided to do Express. Yeah. So we have a nice little group. It's not a big group, but we have a nice group of people registered for this evening and tomorrow and the next day. And they're going through Sex and Happiness Express. And it really is express. It's like, express yourself. Yeah. Someone wrote to me and started laughing. Ha. I love that you named it Express. It is Express. So this woman from Canada, I hope she comes on today. Yeah. Orgasmic Living with Miss Jamie. Ooh. And she is, she told me she was going to try and come on to the show today. She lives in Toronto. And she writes to me on Instagram, and she just went, ha, express. And so, today we're going to talk about what you need to express. Yeah. Because if you don't express, you're going to cause problems in your own relationships, and you're probably going to blame it on the other person.
That's true.
Most likely, if you're like a normal human being growing up, you're probably going to blame everything on another person, because that's what most people do.
It's true. We get in these little ruts of ways of communicating that don't work, and they don't work for so long that eventually communication turns into this underlying feeling of dread when you're around the other person. I've seen it happen in so many relationships. Many of the couples that
many of mine
that we coach, we have these conversations with them, and they're seething. If you've ever been around a couple that was just like, they didn't seem like they even liked each other, but they were together and they were pretending.
But they don't deal with the real problems. They like yell at each other in the car.
Right. On the way there and on the way back.
Because somebody's making a wrong turn, or because somebody's driving too slow or too fast or too this or too that. Usually the problems come out in other ways until somebody is willing to directly head-on deal with it, and that's pretty much what the tantric laws of intimacy are, a direct way of dealing with life.
And we've identified a few things that cause problems in relationships, and so
like what
we feel like is if you highlight these things, then you can identify them, and you can say, I've noticed that. And one of the other things that we want to talk about is how to give your partner what they need to feel loved, even when it's in like a crunchy time. Even when sometimes what they need to feel loved is to feel heard. Right?
Yeah.
And then finally, we're going to talk about 3 ways to self-heal when you've been hurt. Take on the responsibility to heal yourself rather than expecting your partner to heal you.
You're brilliant. Can I just tell you how brilliant you are?
Really?
Did you come up with these topics by yourself?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
You're great.
Well, it's
so great.
It comes out of a life of being loved and being lived with you. So you're great. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I want to be, and I am in the kind of relationship where you can tell that there is love, and it's prevalent, and it's overflowing, and it's juicy, and it's genuine.
And we can't wait to see each other. I mean, I can't wait to see you in the morning.
Oh my gosh, really? That's pretty. So I sneak in the mornings sometimes, and I always try to get in, but she's always, oh hi, honey. And I'm like,
because in the morning when I'm ready to get up, I just hear every noise.
I want to surprise her.
You can't sneak in on me.
And I can't sneak.
I don't think anyone could sneak in the middle of the night either. I don't know.
Probably not. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't tried middle of the night. I've tried, early morning.
No, I wake right up.
It never works. Yeah.
I wake up.
You just
but
wake
I'm
up.
a very sound sleeper, but then I wake up.
So what, let's just dive into our first topic. What causes problems in relationships? What would you say is probably the biggest thing that causes problems in relationships? And look into your own relationship, chat, and see what has caused problems in your relationship, and feel free to put that in the chat. But I'm going to ask you, what do you think causes problems in relationships?
I was going to say communication first, lack of communication skills. However, I think if we go back further, it's this thing, the bandwagon that we have about vetting your partner.
Oh, yeah.
So I would say the first thing is trying to make a relationship with somebody that you shouldn't try to make a relationship with.
Right.
So one, they don't share your same values. So the biggest thing that causes a problem in relationship is not matching values. Michelle calls it not a values match.
Yeah.
You have to have a values match. So that is the first thing, is to vet your partners by finding out what they value and spending enough time. Yeah. If you're attracted to someone chemically, like physically attracted to somebody, like you have a chemistry with someone, don't try to take somebody that you go, ooh, about, and make that into a relationship until you find out if they share your values. And no matter what you do, no matter how hot it is between you and them, if they don't share your values, it is simply not going to work.
It's true.
It's not going to work.
And there's a distinction between values and interests interests are different than values, right? So you and I
interests are interests. Like, I could ski and you might not ski, and that would never be a problem between us. If you skied and I didn't ski, I'd be happy to go to the lodge and drink.
I'm with you.
So you'd like to just go to the lodge and drink, but I'd like to ski. So
so that's an interest. That won't
make or break us. That will not make or break us. That skiing, shooting, you like to shoot, I don't shoot. Mm-hmm. I love to travel. You like to travel.
I like to travel.
But you don't, I don't think anyone likes to travel as much as I do.
You love to travel.
I
like to travel.
Yeah.
It's alike. It's not and it's not something that I think would be a real problem in the sense that, like, if I hated to travel, well, that would be a different thing. But it wouldn't make a difference in our in how we relate to each other, our relationship. It would probably take away from one of the values that we have, which is to be together. We value time.
I value time together, but I also value adventure.
Yeah.
Adventure is a value of mine.
So,
like navigating new places. And I always found, I found in the early days of my life that travel insulated me from neurosis.
Oh, wow.
It's like when I can't speak the language, I can just say, hi, how are you? Where's the ladies' room? Where's the restaurant?
That wouldn't
Can
sound
I
good.
order a cup of coffee? That, when I don't know the language well enough to know the ins and outs, then I can't hear what people's problems are. So that, like, gives me a vacation from coaching people and listening to people. Like, it's a real vacation to me to go somewhere else.
That's right. Well,
and deal with another culture.
So that's something that's really great. And here's where it comes into play, where we start to talk about what is a value compared to what is an interest. So, and you've mentioned a bunch of different interests.
Quality time is a value.
Well, one value might be that one person wants to be in a monogamous relationship, and another person may not like that, and they value polyamory, or maybe they want to be in an open relationship so that they have opportunities. Perhaps sexual adventure is one of their values. They like to be with multiple people in a very safe and adult and responsible way. But that would be a values mismatch. You see? So the difference here is that although you might have the similar interests, your values are what carry you into a relationship. And they'll carry you through a relationship. Interests, not so much. You can always develop new interests and you can develop new values. One of the values that I think you can take on from another person is something that's really important to them, and that for them may be a necessity. So I'll give you an example. Laurie, when I first met her, was in a community that highly valued, health, number one, but longevity, like super longevity. Forever living is what they called it. They called it immortality and living forever, and
physical immortality, really wanting, not spiritual immortality.
Not the ethereal, but the actual physical, being in these bodies for a very long time. And at first, when I first heard that, I thought immortality and forever and all this stuff, okay, that's fine. And then I started to see the science behind it, and I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, and I saw the science, and I went, holy crap, that's actually possible. Now, forever is probably not. Immortality is a thing that I get, these terms are a little crunchy for me, but the idea to live a very, very long time, even hundreds of years, is medically possible. And I went, wow, I'm on board. And that was a value for her. She didn't want to be with someone who was planning to die. She wanted someone who was planning and living. Planning to live and living.
And I didn't want to sleep with somebody who was breathing death into me.
Yeah.
Like thinking I was crazy. She's really crazy. She's going to die. This old bat. I didn't want to be with somebody who was breathing death into me on the pillow.
Yeah.
So so it was really important. This is a really important comment here. Mm-hmm. So you are the only person who jumped that hoop. You were the only person who made it through that, who didn't think I was out of my cotton picking mind, who didn't think I was crazy for wanting to live.
No, of course not.
And so that was a big value. I met a lot of men. I brought lots of men with me to that community, and they would all get out of the meeting and say, "You're out of your mind." And I would go, "Next." Cross this person off.
Yeah.
Maybe they could be a temporary fix. I could maybe have sex with them, but I wasn't going to have them stay overnight, and I wasn't going to invest anything in them because they didn't really want me to live
right
that way. So
again, that's a value,
that's a major value
that I adopted from Laurie, and it was an important value because it was one of the values that she had that was a deal breaker if I wasn't on board with that. And she made it clear. She said, by the way, this is, and she shared with me the information and all that, and she didn't there wasn't a gauntlet laid for me. She just let me know how important it really was to her, and I said, wow, okay. So when I looked at it, I got it. I went through the science. I started to look at what's possible, and I adopted that value. And there are a lot of other values, and Laurie and I vetted each other when we were first really getting to know each other. Where have you done any training? What kind of transformational work have you done on yourself? Who do you follow? And we found out that we were really in the same groove together, and that was exciting to me. In fact, after about 5 minutes, I was like, "Can we date?"
No, really, it was really good because before that, I had some suitors, let's say. I had a couple of people very interested in me seriously. And when I took to the community, and I said to him, "Look, it seems like you're kind of serious with me. And I need to let you know that if this isn't a match for you, this is it." And at the end of the meeting, he said to me, "We should say goodbye now."
Wow.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And I went, "I'm sad, but bye."
Bye.
Like,
thank you for saying goodbye.
thank you for saying the truth.
Thank you for saying, because here I am.
And we're right, and this person and I are still friends. I mean, when we see each other, it's very pleasant.
Yeah.
But then I found you. Who would have thought?
We found each other. It was the coolest thing.
So this is really important.
Read this. This is
While
so
watching you talk, I can see that part of my issue is relating is having surface level connection and afraid to speak my truth and go deep. This is so good because I don't want to out you. I want to say, you've had some sadness lately, some big sadness lately, Chrissy. And part of it is probably because you didn't go deep enough in the vetting of your partners. And we always have to here's the thing I'm saying about sex and happiness. You have to come back to what part did you play in it so that you can make the correction. If you don't have any, the power is with you. It's not with the other people. It's not with the people that were your partners. And you were you're very forward thinking. You had 2 partners. I mean, you're amazing. I was like, whoa, when I found that out. And I think it's hard enough to have 1. Like, I don't know how to have 2. But I want to tell you that the only place the power is in here. It's my power is not over here.
Right.
His power is not over here. Your power is in you. So if you can see from listening to us that you didn't do something, you didn't take the correct measures for you, then you can make that correction the next time and not suffer. Like I'm not saying you'll never suffer. You might suffer over something else, but that correction can be made, and it can be made very quickly and easily. Like you can say, when you're vetting a new partner, you can say, in my last relationship, I didn't find out enough about my person. And so I need to know if we share the same values. And so I'm going to ask you some questions. Mm-hmm. And you can write the question. You can make the questions up now in prep.
Yeah. You know what I think would be a good idea?
What?
And Chrissy, you could help us out with this, is to create a vetting
checklist.
checklist.
I kind of have it.
Do you have that already?
Yeah.
I wish we could give that away right now. That'd be awesome.
I had a post on it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So we can go back and find that, and then we can make that. We actually, that would be a good way for, we can make a checklist for our course, Extraordinary Lovers, and people could answer it. Do you blah, blah, blah. And, you know, because the things we're going to talk about. So the beginning is vetting your partner. That's what causes problems.
That's one thing that causes problems.
It causes big
in a relationship
problems.
Because it didn't start right. Like it, or I hate to use the word right, but it didn't start well.
It didn't start on the proper footing.
Yeah.
Like you both didn't have the same underpinnings, or all of you didn't have the same underpinnings. Right. So that's
important. It's such an important
really
part of it.
Important.
So now that you're in the relating and you're in your relationship, Laurie and I use a little bit different terms because we like the idea of it being a verb. Relationship is like a ship. It's a thing. Whereas relating is an action. It's a current. It's now. We relate to each other right now. So one of the other things that causes problems is how couples begin to dilute when they're together. And by diluting, what I mean is they don't hold their boundaries. They don't have established boundaries. And sometimes what happens is those boundaries, although they're known, they kind of go away by the wayside and are no longer being honored by the other person.
Well, because people pleasing takes over.
That's exactly what happens. People pleasing. So if you're feeling like your boundaries are no longer in place, then what you want to do is, yes, thank you. And I can hear it on the mic.
Yeah.
If your boundaries are no longer in place, then what you want to do is, and this is all about communication, you need to have a conversation. And sometimes what it takes is separation and then reset. And I've seen that happen, where you can reset your relationship without breaking up. Like a lot of people, have you ever had this situation where, you know, it's really bad, you're at each other's throats quite a bit, it's just the relationship's not going well, you're having trouble, and then at one point you decide that, you know what, enough, I've had it, I'm done, and then you break up. And after you break up, all of a sudden you get along better. Like everything, you start to get along with that person again. And it's the oddest thing, but the reality is that all of a sudden you're no longer familiar in the way that you were, and you have boundaries now. You're not going to treat me like that anymore. We're broke up, right? Well, what if you could actually say that? What if you could actually say that without having to separate? You could still break up. Laurie and I have dissolved our relationship because the relationship wasn't working. And what we've done is we stay together, we return to love, but what we do is we go, let's look at our agreements, let's look at our boundaries, let's look at what we need to do in order for us to actually relate to each other as sovereign beings, so we're not diluting one another. And we're not playing this weird game of, you know, not stepping on toes and staying off of the eggshells and that kind of thing. So this is one of the areas where you really have to just be sovereign in yourself. Make sure that you have established boundaries and that you have agreements in place with each other so that you're not, you know, just stepping all over each other. That's what I call is honoring your partner, you know? Mm-hmm. And if you're not honoring your partner, holy shit, you're going to have problems in your relationship. Period.
If you're not honoring yourself.
And if you're not honoring
you're going to have problems in your relationship. So ding.
Ding.
All right, so we said that what causes problems in the beginning is not vetting somebody properly.
Yep.
And the next thing is communication.
Definitely communication.
Communication, and back to what you were saying, Chrissy. Communication is, first of all, knowing how to communicate is really important, and then communicating it, stopping being afraid of going deep and speaking our truth is really important. And we have, you know, Michael and I teach ways to do that. We teach forms. We'll call it forms, just like martial arts, where you have a form. You do. You have forms. Right. Yeah. So you have to have verbal martial arts. You have to know the form of how to communicate so as to the communication is a bridge. And it's like, I am responsible for building a bridge that you can walk over towards me. And if I go like this, then you are not likely to want to walk the bridge that I created. So I need to build a bridge. Communication is just a bridge. It's words are a bridge to connect. And so I have to build the bridge for you to want to be, so for it to be appealing that you want to meet me.
Yeah.
And that's all communication is. And if I don't have the forms, then well, chances are we're going to argue. Chances are we're not going to hear each other. Chances are communication will escalate into arguing and fighting. And it's not, you and I both feel that it's not necessary. Mm-hmm. We've gotten criticism for that. Yeah. People are like, what do you mean you don't fight?
What are you talking about you don't fight? We've done what we do here on this show, on this channel, live.
Twice.
Where we've actually taken real stuff that we had to work out and done it live in front of you.
We have, and we're not ashamed. We're not ashamed or afraid to show you what we do to keep things clear, to keep things juicy, to keep things moving. So communication is really important. Yeah. And then also, what else causes problems? I'm going to just say this. It hasn't happened between us, but one of the partner's children.
Ooh, yeah.
Children can cause problems. Your children are not causing me any problems.
Yeah.
But your children could cause me problems. Anybody, I don't have any children, but if I had children, my children could cause our relationship problems.
And there again, communication is key.
It is.
And it's how, well, so how do you bring up something that's difficult to say about a person's children that, you know, is causing a problem for you? Like that's the meat of it. How to do that. And you're right. You got to have some kind of relationship martial arts. It's relationship judo or kung fu, right?
There was a time when one of your children was living with you.
Yeah.
And I thought, I love her, and I thought she was taking advantage of you. And I had to talk with her, and I had to talk with you.
Yeah.
I felt like you weren't putting up boundaries because you were soft.
I was with her.
You were too soft.
Yeah.
And I felt like she was draining you.
Yeah, and part of it was that I didn't want to lose her, like that could happen, but that I wasn't being authentic with myself or with her, and I wasn't communicating.
And things are much better. She hasn't lived with you in over 2 years.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said something because it really did help.
Now, a lot of people wouldn't say, they'd say, that's your business.
Right.
That's not my business. You know, and da-da-da. But all the while, they'd be holding back the truth that you needed to look at. Yeah. You needed to look at that. And you needed to take action with her. Yeah. And it caused a better relationship with you and her that you asked her to move out. Yeah. And sometimes it takes somebody else to see that, but so that's another thing that causes problems in relationships.
And that was early on, and that was just about when she was about to go to college, and now she's in college and she's adulting quite well. So,
well, at the time she was taking a break from college,
right?
And that was a very
that was
long
not adulting
break.
Very well.
That was a very long break. Okay, yeah. That's another thing. Another thing that could cause problems in relationships is value of money.
Money.
So children are a value. You know, I don't share that value, but I share the value of humanness. So I love people's children. I'm glad they're not mine.
You would make a unique mom.
I think at this point I'd make an awesome mom, but back in the day when I would have had children, I was not fit.
You would have made someone crazy.
I looked in the mirror and I told myself the truth. You're not fit to be a mother. Don't even fantasize the romantic aspects of it. They stick around forever. So no, I didn't do it. So that could be the value of money could be a problem. Different values of money. We had different values of that, and now we're coming closer together about that.
Yeah.
how often to have sex could be a problem. Like one partner might have there was a time when I had more of an appetite than you.
Sex is a Pandora's box. I mean, if we go there, what could cause problems in the world of your sex life? That could really open up some problems in a relationship.
Look, I talked to a couple yesterday, and they said, we've been married for 40-something years, and we get bored. And one said that, and the other one said, no, we don't.
Right?
And so...
Problem.
And so, no, not really, because since they know us, they've worked on that. They've expanded their horizons to include things that they never considered before. Like they considered their meeting up with us, you and me, to be, what's that word?
Revolutionary?
No, well, that's a good one.
That's what I would use.
Serendipitous.
Synchronous.
They consider it to be kismet. Is that that they met up with us?
Breaking out your Yiddish, yeah.
Kismet
isn't that Yiddish?
No,
I thought
that's
it was.
beshert.
Beshert.
The word is beshert. Beshert means like it's meant to be.
Oh.
You're beshert to me.
Oh.
You're my beshert. That means
you heard it here on Extraordinary Lovers TV. I'm beshert.
Beshert in Yiddish.
British Yiddish.
Beshert in Yiddish means you're my beloved and you were meant to be. It's like written in the
stars,
in the cosmos. People call each other beshert, and they say it's beshert. Like, I met this person, it's beshert.
Well, anyway, so this couple mentioned that meeting us was really good for
kismet.
Them. It was kismet.
They didn't use that word, but it was like they said you've opened our eyes up to so much more with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that it's true.
And so. they've awakened desire in themselves. Their communication skills are just amazing now. And part of the sex, part of communication is what it's all about. But part of making sure that you're being fulfilled in your relationship, when you start to see these problems pop up, or if you're having the same conversation and you seem to be getting nowhere and it becomes a fight or anything like that, then the level of communication that you're using to resolve that problem is not sufficient. You need a higher level of communication. And oftentimes what we find is people stop communicating. They start to spiral down into the 3 R's: resentment, resistance, and revenge.
And lately we heard another one.
Yeah, Tony Robbins came out with 4 R's. And I don't know them well enough to communicate them.
One was repression.
Yeah, well, I think that's found in resistance or resentment.
Well, repression is when you don't speak your truth. When you don't think your truth, or you don't think you're valuable enough to say it. Yeah. And you're not getting it, so if you don't say it, how are you going to get it?
So this is the crazy making of it. It's a mad, mad world we live in, right? When you find yourself not speaking your truth, and you have resentment towards the person that you love, this is what's crazy, is that without that conversation, without being able to say and speak your truth in a way that you can return to love after the upset happens, you're pretty much stuck just not saying anything so that you can protect the relationship. It's the relationship you're protecting, and yet you yourself are hurting. You're in, there's all this pain and
I'd say that's most
upset.
Relationships.
And
that's most relationships I've ever been in, and that's most relationships I've ever seen on the outside.
And the people that we coach, this is the one thing that, again, we want to highlight.
This is why you need a coach.
We want to highlight this so that you get it. Like, we're talking about how do you take, these are what causes problems in the relationship. And the next topic we're going to delve into here will address some of that, because some of it, what your partner needs to feel love is just to feel heard. It's just to feel seen. and how you can give a safe space. And you say this so brilliantly, Laurie, that you got to ask yourself, are you space for somebody to be able to say hard things to you?
Oh, yeah. There was a time when I wasn't.
Yeah.
So people have lied to me, and I feel like if I take responsibility for the lies, not that I lie, but if I take responsibility for the lies, I wasn't a safe space for them to be able to speak their truth. Now, in one case, that wasn't true. That was just a liar.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I learned this very early. If I'm not a safe space for you to speak your truth, then you're not gonna. You're gonna start sneaking around or suppressing or repressing your urges, your desires, your communication, your wants, and you're gonna have to find them somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's gonna cause separation. I mean, just this week, 2 of my apprentices spoke their truth to me, and one of them waited 6 weeks. And I said to him, listen, I need you to speak sooner, because I could feel the separation. I said, what do you think's going to happen when you speak to me? He said, I don't know, but I don't want to rock the apple cart. I don't want to lose you. I'm afraid if I speak my truth, I'll lose you. I said, well, the chances of you losing me are greater if you don't speak your truth.
That's right.
Because if we disagree, we can always work it out. But if I don't know, but I just feel this slippage.
Yeah, the distance.
Yeah.
Like shut off.
Yeah, and one of them said to me last night, I checked in with one of them last night, one of my apprentices, and I said to him, how you doing? I'm great. I said, because we had a little tiff in a class this week, and he said to me, no, I spoke up. I feel good. And I knew that I was a space for him to speak up.
Yeah.
So we were laughing on the phone last night, and this is somebody who's held resentment for a long time. Not about me. I know about the other resentments, and I just like, no. In my space, he's speaking his truth.
Yeah.
So great.
Well, how that comes about is how solid you are.
Oh, Andy's back.
Andy,
how
welcome
you doing,
back,
Andy?
my brother.
Andy from England.
That's what I love about you, is that you're so solid in yourself, that you've checked in with yourself, you're connected to that, and you're willing to hear whatever. Like so to I don't want to say it that way. I want to say to really look inward and go, am I a safe space for somebody to say something that might not be so easy for me to hear, like a criticism, or you do something a certain way that I don't really like. And imagine that certain way is a sexual act. How difficult is it to hear, you do this thing and I don't really like it, or I don't like it all the time. That's another one. It's
boring.
It's the same thing every time. That partner might have to say, I really don't like it all the time, but I'm just enduring. Who wants to endure sex? No, thank you.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, thank you.
So many people endure sex.
Yeah. Oh,
it's like they think it's their wifely or husbandly duty.
Yeah.
And they endure it, and they're bored, and they're not turned on.
That's right.
But they have to get it over with because there's a biological urge. Oh my God.
I mean, it's hard.
Listen, I told you there was a woman who called me a few years ago, and she said, I want to take your sex magic class. Do I have to have an orgasm? And I said, yeah.
Yeah.
You do. And she said, oh, never mind. I don't want to do that. I'm over that. And I was like, really? Okay. What's your age? She said, I'm 60. I said, and you don't want to have an orgasm? Are you ready to go to the grave? Like, what's happening for you? And she said, I just feel like that's a part of my life I let go of. I'm done with that. And I went, I don't think you can be in my class.
Yeah.
That's not okay with me.
Yeah, how
sad. And I said, I'm so sad for you.
Yeah.
That's a part of your body and a part of your life. And you're not, there's no reason to let that go. Yes.
Yeah,
isn't 60 the best age?
Sir, listen, you know that's the truth.
Listen, Andy, I'm older than that now, and it's even better. So, getting over 50 makes it better because you get over all these. You get. I remember when I met Michael, he was in his late 40s, and he said to me, "You're different from me," and I was like, "How so?" And he said, "You're not afraid of what people think of you." That's right. Do you remember saying that to me? Yeah. And I said, "Yeah, I haven't been worried about that since I was 50." And
oh man.
And
well, I look, and by the way,
yes, you're claiming this. You said you were bored. I love it. So, you're not the only person.
It's a problem in relationships.
Chris, love you so much. Yes. I was speaking about you earlier, and Michael thought I was speaking Yiddish. I said that you said something about meeting us, and it was really like good for you. And I used the word kismet, which is like when it's like divine, when people meet and it's meant to be. And then he said to me, "Are you speaking Yiddish?" And I said, "No, that word is beshert," which means like it's meant to be. He's my beshert.
Right.
So Chris, maybe you're my beshert too. You and John are our beshert.
Yes. We'll give our love to John as well. So where we were going with this was, all of these things that we've seen that can cause problems in relationships, from vetting your partner to lack of communication to fear of communication, for fear of loss of the relationship itself, rather than actually being a relation to the person. I'm relating to my beloved. I'm not in a relationship. I'm relating to her as a sovereign being. I'm honoring her boundaries. I'm honoring her wisdom, her knowledge. I'm honoring her person. She's honoring me back. That's the level at which you want to be communicating. And what you can do to give your partner what they need to feel loved, the couple of things, or the few things that you can do.
But wait, I'm sorry.
Let me finish the thought. One is to actually be a space for them to be able to say anything they need to say to you.
And that what I was going to interrupt you and say, which I'm very sorry, was taking responsibility for what's missing.
Yes.
So it's like it's like what I said earlier. If I'm willing to take responsibility for all the things that were off in the relationships I had before, because one, I didn't speak my truth. I didn't set boundaries. I wasn't aware enough. I wasn't enlightened enough. I wasn't willing to risk enough.
Right.
I put it on them. I blamed them. No, it's me. And so if I'm willing to say what's my truth, I'm also willing to hold the space for you to say your truth.
Yeah.
And that means being adult. Yeah. To me, that's like being a grown up. You think your personality is overpowering? You should meet me. I love powerful people. Yeah. If you're a powerful person, then you just have to get that sometimes your personality overruns some other people's personalities, and you have to find ways of bringing those persons out. Like, not manipulating them because you're powerful. Like, I know I'm powerful. I can get anything I want. Pretty much because I'm not afraid to ask for it. But I have to say, I have to like know who I am and say, okay, who else am I relating to? And they don't have the same kind of power, but I have to encourage their power.
Yeah. So
I need to give them a space in which they can speak their truth to me. A long time ago, this is a little teeny story. I met a woman when I lived in Boston. I was at a women's retreat, and I met a woman I liked a lot, and she liked me a lot, and I thought we were going to become friends. And then we had lunch together, and she said to me, "I can't be friends with you." And I said, "Why?" And she said, I feel like I would be gobbled up by your energy. And I really felt hurt at the time. But you know what? She gave me a piece of feedback that was really important. And so I toned myself down a little bit. I let other people... Now I'm very quiet. I let other people talk a lot.
Except when you're holding court.
Well, that's after a couple glasses of wine.
When the queen holds court. And you have to be there to see it. It's...
You get me a couple glasses of wine and then I start holding court, but people love it. I'm very
You get a dozen people around and she's got a couple of glasses of wine in her and she is the life of the party. Like she really is. She's the queen. It's amazing.
What does he say? We have a saying, I'm like Marmite. You either love me or really, really hate me. You're going to come over and we're going to drink. Yeah, well, you know Chrissy. That's for sure, Chrissy.
Yes.
I don't know when, the COVID's going to lighten up enough for us to see you. I'm thinking you're going to come to an ISTA sooner than later.
That would be the next step for you. You definitely.
And then on one of the nights after, because during ISTA there's no alcohol.
Right. Yeah.
Go, money, good. Yeah, like...
Goals, baby.
Money goals, that's great. In ISTA, there's no alcohol served, and there isn't any. But the night after,
that's when you hold court.
I hold court.
That's when she holds court. So let's talk a little. Let's get back to this giving your partner what they need to feel loved.
Yeah.
So we just talked about be the space, be an open space that's free and also safe for your partner to be able to say whatever it is that they need to say, and also. You might want to really look into what does your partner need to feel loved. Now, Laurie and I, when we teach our class, we have a class called Extraordinary Lovers Experience, which, by the way, is coming up for
Valentine's weekend, February 13th and 14th.
Ah, you're going to want to be there for it.
Grab your lover and come to Extraordinary Lovers. Now, Chris has already been through it a couple of times, so... If there's anything you want to say about Extraordinary Lovers, Chris, please do.
Yes.
Andy, I'm kind of hoping that you're going to bring your wife. I don't know. I'd love for you to bring your wife and your kids.
Andy, I don't do Valentine's Day either.
Oh, my God. That's a whole other situation that you're talking about. That's why we're doing Extraordinary Lovers, so you don't have to do the same thing.
Go ahead.
So the first year Michael and I were together, I said he was taught we both don't like holidays. We don't like all the pomp and circumstance about holidays. So Michael was going on and on about I hate Christmas, I hate New Year's, I hate this, I hate that, and I hate Valentine's. And inside my little heart was like breaking. I thought he doesn't do Valentine's. That isn't a religious holiday. That your parents didn't make you do anything on Valentine's. Da, da, da. So I said to him, honey, can we talk about something you mentioned the other day? And he's like, yeah. So we set up a space to talk about it. And then I said to him, I like Valentine's Day. And he said, I hate Valentine's Day.
I hate it.
He said, what do you want to do? I said, like to create a ritual. And he said, oh. Tell me about it. So he said to me, just don't make me buy the compulsory box of chocolates.
I don't want to be one of those
and the
guys
red roses
that shows up with a box of, candy and roses. And happy Valentine's Day. No thanks. I said, I want to do something that's going to actually share love. And I don't think chocolates and, roses do that. And so
they do, not on Valentine's. They do any other time.
She was like, okay, well, could we do something else? And she said, what do you want? And I said, I'd like you to make a temple and candles and all that
100 candles.
And I said, and I will give you like the best massage ever. And I will, we'll make
love to you.
And we'll have a beautiful, and she created this incredible space in this room, by the way. So there was some hot stuff going on in this room.
There was like about 200 candles.
Yeah.
And all there was like a scene all set up, and all he had to do was show up.
Well, and I like the fact that you actually felt safe enough to say to me, hey, I like Valentine's Day. You know, I want to do this. And so that made a difference for me. I appreciate that. And then the other thing is that we were able to negotiate it out. And I wasn't really resistant to it. I said, okay, well, if that's something...
As long as you don't have to do...
That's important.
He said
to
he
you.
didn't want to be in the store with all the other frowning men who were holding flowers and a box of chocolate. Like, he just didn't want to do the same thing that other men have to do. And I said, who cares? Fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
So now we have a class on Valentine's Day weekend because we think there must be other men...
Yeah, who are
and
like
women
me.
Who do, like women want some thought. They don't want the same thing as everybody else. Maybe they do. I don't know who they are.
Well, I think what both men and women want are connection.
Yes.
You know, and we'll talk about that but I think that's what most men and women want. They want to deepen their intimacy. They want to have that connection that's really substantial and powerful. And it's like
and they want it to keep being renewed. Like, if you're bored, then you have to keep creating new things to keep that connection flowing.
And it shouldn't be so damn elusive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just shouldn't be so damn elusive. So giving your partner what they need to feel loved. Well, one of the things that Laurie and I talk about is this. That is, what is love? Like, we asked the question, what is love? Now, the Greeks had all of these different descriptions of love, and they had separate words for love, right? But one of the things that I think is really important to remember is that, you know, when you feel love, you have oxytocin going through your body. Oxytocin being the love hormone or the connection hormone. It's what causes that bonding between a mother and her child after childbirth. It's what is released into the body during childbirth. It is what is released in the body when you have an orgasm. Or it's what is released in the body when you hold somebody or hug somebody. Or even when you pet your pet, you know, you're petting your dog or your cat. Oxytocin gets released into your system and their system. What I'm saying here is that without oxytocin, you cannot feel love. That's important. So there are some real ways in which you can communicate love for your partner that you know that oxytocin will be released into their system. And when I'm doing
it now.
When you do that on purpose, you know, the stroke of an arm or something like that.
I'm touching him now. So
we're holding hands right now.
So oxytocin is being produced. And look, Chris says she doesn't want flowers or candy. Just see me, love me, be with me.
There it is. I mean,
that's it. Yeah.
So there are 5 love languages.
She's saying, Andy, do the course.
So what we're saying is there are 5 love languages, and you know, the love language. There's a book called The 5 Love Languages, and there's even a website. And Chrissy, if you would put the 5 Love Languages website up there, so that you know couples can actually go on there and do fill out a form, and it's a little survey quiz to find out what your love language is. And so knowing what a person's love language is and on purpose giving them what they need is so important so that your partner actually feels loved. And I saw what you wrote earlier, Andy, about, you know, you're not feeling, you don't spend a lot of time with your wife and your kids and you feel bad about that. What does she need? Do you know what does she need? Time? Does she need, you know, quality time is one of them. Gifts is another one. Does she need gifts? Does she need to have words of affirmation? These are some of the love languages. What does she need? And how do you find that out? I would go to the website and take a look at that.
Yeah, time may not be the thing. Yeah. I mean, for me, time is the thing.
Yeah.
Quality time is the thing.
And touch.
And touch. Those are my 2. I could care less about gifts. Most gifts I get, I don't like.
I need words of affirmation. And one of the ways that she gives me words of affirmation is she says,
good job.
All she's got to say is good job. And I'm like, yes, yes. So that's one way that you can give your partner what they need to feel loved. Another is, and it's exactly what Chris just wrote, CP SAB. CP SAB. What Chris wrote is, you know, love me, see me, be with me. That is what she needs to feel loved.
That sounds like quality time to me.
Yeah. So if you know that, as your if you know that about your partner, you can on purpose. That's what I mean by this. Intentionally. You can intentionally give them what they need. And part of that is really being an open space for them to say whatever they need to say to you.
And, you know, a lot of times couples do this thing. I call it hallway time. Like they pass each other in the halls of their house.
Yeah.
Or they sit down to breakfast together, but one of them is reading the paper, or, you know, in your case, you have an earbuds and you're listening to a podcast. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that is not quality time. Mm. That's not it.
Yeah. And sometimes what you need to do is, sometimes what you need to do.
Oh, she said ding. I'm sorry. I wasn't reading the chat.
So I got to ask you, Chris, I love your name, CP Saab, S-A-A-B. Do you own a Saab? I had one once.
You did?
I'm asking her.
I never had one.
She'll answer me in a second.
That's one car I never had.
I loved my Saab. It was a 2.0 turbo. 2.0 liter turbo. It's
was
great
it black?
Car. Yeah, it was a beautiful car.
I like Saabs in
They're
black.
Great cars. Yeah, totally. Well, so, you know,
it's made in Sweden.
It's a great car. It was fast. Once the turbo got spun up.
Don't they make turbo engines for airplanes?
We're going. We're going off topic.
Well, you're curious.
Yeah. So I think that you know, the problems that you're experiencing in your relationship, once you can identify them, where are they coming from, and then you can start to look at the things that how do I make sure that not only am I being open space for conversation, but that you're also able to share hard things with your partner. And Laurie and I teach something that we learned from Allison Armstrong in our Extraordinary Lovers Experience course called Cough It Up, Blow It Up, Clean It Up. We're not going to go into it here. If you want to know about it, you got to come to the class. Really, it's an amazing experience, and we're going to give you skills to be able to work your way through this.
And people have seen us do 2 cough-ups. We did 2 cough-ups so far on this show that we needed to do. Mm-hmm. So we did. Yep. Chris had a black convertible, best car she ever owned. She had 2.
Yeah, I was suspicious. I was like, CP Saab. I was right.
Yeah.
Say good job.
Good job.
Thank you.
So you have to give your partner what they need to feel loved. And it may not be what you had in mind. It may not be the thing you thought. Mm-hmm. Like if you're a gift giver because you like gifts and your person's not a gift receiver, then that's not the right stuff to give them to feel loved.
Right.
You can buy all the gifts in the world and that's not the thing. I've
heard men say, I give her all the things that she needs. She's got a house, food on the table, money in the bank. I give her all the things she needs. I buy her gifts, I buy her flowers,
diamonds.
And she's still unhappy. What the hell? Look, man,
you have to do something.
You're different. Speaking French to an English speaker.
Right.
You're not speaking her love language, and that's not what she wants. Yes, she wants safety. Yes, she wants a house, and yes, but what she really wants is these other things. She wants to hear you say, I love the way you're dressed tonight. That's a word of affirmation. I love how intelligent you are. I love the way you think.
I like that you even notice what I wear.
Oh, yeah.
I once had a boyfriend who didn't know. I could have had my head shaved and he would never have noticed. He never noticed anything that I did to look attractive.
Yep.
Nothing. He would just, and I was just like, what can I do to shock this person? I don't know. It's like, whatever. I love that you notice things like that. I love that you're in tune with that. And that feels really good, that you're in tune with the things that make me feel good. And even the things we don't agree about or things we disagree about, who cares? I feel really loved.
Well, I want to share something with you. If you look in the background right here, you can see that there are flowers back there. Take a look behind you.
I can't see.
Look behind you.
Yeah, but you didn't get those.
I didn't get those, but I put them there.
There are 2 other bouquets in the house that he did get. And it's because on this show, I said he didn't bring flowers. And he didn't want me to say that publicly. So he changed that week.
Yep.
He bought flowers. He bought like 2 bouquets because he doesn't feel confident in picking out flowers. So he bought 2 different kinds of bouquets.
I don't necessarily know what kind of flowers to buy, number one, and what kind of flowers maybe she might be allergic to or just absolutely hate.
These would be the ones that most people are allergic to, by the way. I'm not.
Yeah.
These are the Chinese lilies.
Mm-hmm.
Stargazers, they're called.
Yeah.
They have a big smell. They're like powerful, like Andy.
Yeah.
And Andy, I don't know if you have a powerful smell, but like you're powerful and I'm powerful. These flowers are powerful.
Yeah.
They have a huge smell. And
and Bill bought you those flowers, by the way, because he's a sweetheart.
Yeah, he did. Look at this. Chris says she closed her eyes to her ex once and asked him what color her eyes were, and he didn't know. Ooh. I knew I was in trouble then. Oh my goodness, Chris, I know the color of your eyes.
I know what color your glasses are.
Yeah.
I always say that your eyes are green, and you go, they're not green.
Yeah, but they are, actually. They turned green.
They are green.
In my later years.
You said before they were what?
No, you always tell me they're blue. They're green.
I look at your eyes, and sometimes
you
they
say
are
they're blue.
They're blue.
Well, in the eye doctor, they told me they were blue-green, and I've never had blue eyes
and
before.
She keeps telling me they're green, but they're blue.
Wait, but go back to Chrissy's comment.
Oh, hold on.
Because she said that the person was always trying to do acts of service.
Yeah.
And she said that she could do the acts of service.
She's like, dude, I can do this myself. I don't need you to do it. I need you to spend time with me and pay attention to me. So
that's what, okay. So when you're vetting your next partner, love, you have to say, and my love language, just so you know, is time, quality time, and I think you said gifts earlier. That's you need to tell. You need to tell them green they are, hazel at times. Are you saying that about my eyes, Chris, or are you saying that about your eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you learned all this through your breakups. Yeah, well, unfortunately, we learn all these things through our breakups. I mean, but hopefully we get to a place where we don't have to break up anymore because we actually got it. We got it figured out and we got it going on. Mm-hmm. Things happen. Anyway, so that's really important. Give your partner what they need, they need, and
to feel loved.
Yeah. So I need to tell people that. Just so you know, we have to go off the show early today.
Yeah, we have
because we're in the ISTA festival, and so we go on the ISTA festival exactly the time that we normally end this show. Yep. Sometimes we go over by a few minutes, and we can't take that risk today because, from what I heard from the person who was measuring how many people are getting played in the ISTA festival, we have 140 people pre-registered to be in our workshop.
That's exciting.
So
very exciting.
Yes, yours, and that's why. Mine are
Chris,
green.
you have beautiful eyes.
Yeah. Mine are green and brown, I thought, but then Michael told me they were green and blue, and then in the eye doctor they told me they were green and blue, and I was like, oh, Michael's right. But mine, I always thought they were brown before.
I'm not colorblind. I can see colors. Girl. What was up?
Anyways, so... Yeah, sometimes you need to break up to understand what you don't want and what you do. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and ask yourself, I mean, this is an exercise that really will help you, and that is to ask yourself, what are you settling for? What are you withholding and not saying in this relationship that if you said it, and it went well, would transform your relationship and make it so much richer and better? What could you say? What's that one thing that if you could get that resolved, if you could solve that and you had to just say it, what is it that you could say that would actually make the relationship better? And tied to that is, are you afraid that if you said it, you would lose the relationship? Like if you're afraid of losing the relationship, then that's going to be the deterrent from actually saying it.
But then if you wait too long, then you rather lose the relationship. I mean, it's just,
it's a
it's a never-ending cycle here. Maybe the thing you need to say is, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
If your partner needs you to say you're sorry so that they can feel loved, even if you are right, would you be willing to say you're sorry? Like if your partner said to you, wow, that really hurt my feelings. And in your mind, you're clear. You did not say whatever it is or did whatever it is you did and said to hurt their feelings. That was not your intention. They're wrong. They're absolutely incorrect. That was not your intention. You had no thought of causing hurt to them. And yet, somehow, what you did or said hurt them. Would you be willing, even though you're right, to say, I'm sorry I hurt you? I am.
Silence. There was big silence there. I am.
Yeah.
That was how I made up with the person who was my apprentice, the one that was holding on to something for 6 weeks. I said, I take full responsibility for this. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there was a big space for us to have a whole conversation.
Yeah. Try it.
And there was no air, like it let the air out of the big balloon that was called, make wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We live in this world of right and wrong, and we're always fighting for what we're right about. And when I say we're, I mean me. I
used to do that. I mean, I used to think that the best defense was offense, and I would go on the attack.
Sure.
I knew how to do that.
Yeah. You could back somebody down pretty easily. And by the way, she's little, but this woman can back you down. She'll back you. She's had two men like about to get in a fight, and she backed them both down. She's powerful.
But I only do that when I see that that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
If what needs to happen is to diffuse the tension, and I can take responsibility for causing it, then I do, because I don't lose anything.
That's right.
Most of the time people think, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
You said that we taught you that. Yeah, I mean, the first time Michael ever did it, I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, I said...
Well, tell the story. Tell what happened.
So I was going to my community at one Friday night, and he wasn't going that night. He said he didn't feel good. He said, call me when you're on the road coming home. So that's about 10 o'clock at night, 10:30. So I called him, and I could tell he wasn't paying attention. Like, I'm talking to him on the phone in the car, and he's not paying attention. And he's, I said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm texting someone.
I was distracted.
I'm doing this. And I'm like, you told me to call you. And he said, well, I have other things I have to do. And I just went, okay, I'm getting off the phone. And he could tell I was mad. And he said, sounds like you're mad. And I said, I'm an adult. I know how to take care of my anger. I have tools. I'm hanging up. And I hung up. And the next day I couldn't hand scream. I was driving.
I just did.
The next day, you called me and you said the following words. The first thing out of your mouth was, I'm sorry, I was not emotionally available for you last night. And I said, who trained you? You are trained. I never heard a man say that.
Allison Armstrong trained me.
That's for you, Allison Armstrong.
We love you.
And I no man ever took responsibility that way. It was like I couldn't even yell. I couldn't even say how mad I was. I just was like, aw. I melted. And then I thought, this man's amazing. It's Bashert.
Bashert.
You blew my mind. It was so it was so unexpected.
Yeah.
I've told that story over and over and over again. So you just did hand screaming, and I just alluded to the fact that I could self-heal when I was mad.
That's right.
And you wanted to say 3 ways to self-heal.
So this next topic that we're going to bring up, we hope that you really got this part about giving your partner what they need to feel loved. And this next part is, their self-healing or healing hurts that you have are your personal responsibility. And that's a hard thing to say, because when other people hurt you, you feel like, oftentimes I feel like that, hey, they need to apologize for what they did. They need to say what they did wrong, and then they need to be responsible for it. And okay. However, the hurt is sitting here. And so if you want to heal the hurt, you've got to take some steps, and you need to be responsible for your hurt. It's yours. It's not theirs. They may not even know they did anything wrong. Okay? But you can actually bypass this need to have them say they're sorry or to make amends or anything of that nature simply by using these 3 tips that we're going to give you to self-heal, to heal your own hurts, and to actually become whole again. And if they ever do say, I'm sorry, or if they ever realize that they did something wrong, they may say they're sorry, and that's fine. But you don't need them to, because you're already healed. So let's start with the easiest one, and that is the hand scream. Like how to actually...
Well, practice emotional release is the bigger topic.
Sure.
And hand scream is one of the things.
Hand scream. Emotional release is probably... Laurie is called the queen of emotion. You actually introduced yourself to me as the queen of emotional release. Not the first time we met.
No, I said I was the goddess.
You said you were the goddess, but later on you said, I'm the queen of emotional release. And then she showed me what that meant. And I was like, okay. But emotional release is how you take the emotions that are sitting inside your body.
They're stuck.
And they're stuck in the cells. It's like a cellular level. And how to move that out of your body is through releasing them. And Laurie has a system called emotional release. So why don't you share a little bit about what that looks like?
Well,
I'm going to put it all on you.
I'm not going to teach all of it here, but I'm going to just say the first thing is to realize, is to understand, is to get that my emotions are mine. And if you did something that made me mad or triggered me, it's my trigger. I used to describe it like a jukebox that has old records. So all your emotions pretty much that have been stored, that have not been expressed, are like an old-time jukebox. Has little 45 records. I am angry. I am hurt. I am sad. I am, and the record comes down. It goes, you press the button. Someone presses your buttons, and they play A1. And A1 is like, I am angry. B3 is, I am so hurt. Mm-hmm. You hurt me.
Tears.
And C12 is, whatever. I'm
seething rage,
or I'm lost, or whatever.
Yeah. So
all of these are old records that are still in your jukebox. And your buttons are out there just like the jukebox buttons are. Somebody puts in their quarter and they play and they press those buttons, and it's dependable. A1 will always be I am angry, and B3 will always be I'm hurt. And so they know how to play you, and you think they're responsible. No, you have to pull your buttons in. You have to pull that whole keyboard back and take those records and throw them out. And how you do that is by doing emotional release. And you have to do enough emotional release that gets you current.
Yeah.
So if you have lots of past hurts and traumas and things stored in your system that come up automatically every time you're in some kind of a situation with somebody, it's not their fault. It's yours. Mm. So the first one we do is hand screaming, and that's the one that Michael did. And that one I'll teach, and then the other ones you have to come to class for. We can't This is the TV show to talk about it so that people like find out about it.
Right.
So hand scream is, what's going on here?
We lost power on that light. That's okay.
We lost power?
Keep going. The battery just went out. This actually looks pretty good.
So hand scream, you put one hand over the other, and then you put your hands over your mouth, and you scream into your hands.
And you wiggle.
You wiggle your whole torso.
Yeah.
And you let that one out. You let out whatever it is. You hurt me. I'm so hurt. I'm so angry. And you just keep doing it until when you move your torso and you let sound out, it releases something. It's like the old kind of what are those heating systems? Steam heaters?
Yeah, it's like
it's
letting
a governor.
out steam.
It's like the governor that lets out steam from the boiler, or lets out steam from steam radiators.
Right.
So some of you might even be too young to remember those.
No, they're still around.
They're still around? Yeah. Okay. We don't have them in Arizona.
No, we have a hot freaking sun in Arizona.
We have. There's no governor to let
we have AC.
the heat out of the sun. So emotion release is a practice of letting go of the past.
Yeah. And
how we cling to the past is through emotional triggers. That's right. We have to let them go. And that's my responsibility. That is your responsibility. Yeah. That is not my partner's responsibility.
Absolutely right.
It's not yours to let it go. Yeah.
And so 3 ways. One is identify that you have a hurt. That's the first thing. Laurie gave a really good, analogy of what that looks like, especially when you know that you've been triggered and your heart hurts, or you're triggered and you're angry. You got to notice it. I mean, you got to notice it first. And then the second tip, or the second way that you can actually self-heal, is to actually remove. And some people throw a tantrum. Some people like scream and yell.
I had a roommate who used to punch the walls and break glass tables.
So
I mean, he was strong.
So do something that's not going to do that, right? But you got to release the energy of the emotions. And being responsible, Laurie just shared with you the hand scream, one hand in front of the other over the mouth, and you can scream your heart out.
Or you can put a pillow over your mouth.
Yeah, something.
Too. You can pillow scream also. And you just say all the things that you don't want to say to the person. You don't want to blame. So you you put on angry music and scream. This morning, when I was on a different call with you, Chrissy, he was yelling to Rage Against the Machine. And I could hear him when
Fuck you, I won't do it, you tell me.
In the room that I was in, I could hear him, yelling to Rage Against the Machine as a song. And I love that Chris says she's done it until it made her laugh at herself. Me too. Sometimes I'd be like, never stop. Yeah. So ridiculous. Such drama.
I can't believe I'm upset by that,
Yeah. So that's...
What a drama queen I am. Seriously. Anyway, so that's the second way, or that's the second way of doing that. And then the other one that can really release the hurt is to forgive yourself.
Yes.
The biggest...
You didn't know any better.
And I like to say it this way. Can you forgive the person you were that did that thing when you did it? You don't realize that if you did something like a long time ago, you're a completely different human being then. So give yourself compassion, like heal yourself by forgiving yourself, and just say, I forgive the person I was. If you did it 20 minutes ago and you realized it was wrong, whatever it was, you could say, I didn't realize that what I was doing was hurtful. Or I didn't realize that I was being gullible and I got caught. Sometimes forgiveness and being compassionate to yourself comes from not realizing that somebody that was hurting you was really using you. and you were gullible. And it's okay to forgive yourself for that. To say, you know what, I was gullible. I won't be gullible again.
Maybe.
And I forgive myself, and I have compassion for who I was being when that happened.
I feel like I'm very gullible. I don't know that I'll ever change.
I don't see you as gullible at all.
You don't?
No.
Oh, well, that's good. I think I'm very gullible.
You do?
Yeah. Because I want so much to believe in people's possibilities.
Oh, that's not gullible. No, honey. I would recharacterize that, reframe that altogether. You are not gullible.
I have all these.
You are the queen of possibility.
I am.
And some people let you down, or they let themselves down. Really, is what it is. They let themselves down.
Well, I feel like I've been gullible in my life.
Well,
okay.
All of this stuff that we're talking about, we actually do teach in the Extraordinary Lovers Experience. And like you said, it's coming up this Valentine's weekend.
Yeah, the February 13th and 14th of February.
Now it's the program itself. If I may just share a little bit, it's 2 days, but it's not just 2 days. We take 2 days and we get the foundations of the work, and then we spend the next 4 weeks. We have one call a week for the next 4 weeks, about an hour and a half, and we really deepen that practice so that we go from just having an experience of a weekend that's really powerful, and then we add to that the ability to actually deepen that and make it a practice so that it's in your life, it's embedded in your life, and you're using it.
So we deal with self-love, love of another, and then love that manifests.
Yeah.
And those are the three big distinctions, the three things that we work with over the course of the weekend. And inside of that, we teach emotional release. We teach people how to have the cough up conversation. Yeah. We teach people the structures for that. And then we keep going. We teach people how to create intentional love, return to love all the time. And then when we've finished those things, we teach people how to take their sexuality and their love and manifest things in their life.
That's right.
And Chrissy says she's gullible. She would never think I'm gullible. I am. I'm like, I don't know.
I'm with you, Chrissy. I don't see it. I don't see it in her.
All right.
Not at all. Right. Well, so finish what you're saying about, really, we then
teach people how to manifest with the energy that they have between them. Like you and I have chemistry.
Yeah.
And we've created this relating out of vetting each other, out of using these tools together, out of going through the tough times together. And then we take the energy that we have, that's the chemistry between us, the sexual energy, and we use it as the fuel for what it is we're creating.
That's right.
So we used it to create this course, Extraordinary Lovers. We used it to create our coaching business. We used it to create this TV show. We use it to create healthy bodies. Yep. I mean, there's so many things we use sexual energy for, not just sex.
Yeah. And by the way, the sex is so much better now. So really, because we focused in on what does it take to really touch your lover? What is it? How do you touch your lover? And so we give you tips on that. And then we also teach you the methods for manifesting anything you want in your life. If you want more money, if you want more connection, if you want more depth, if you want to write a book, if you want to create a community, this is one way that we feel is probably the most impactful way. In fact, chapter 11 of
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Chapter 11 talks about how or that you can use sexual energy.
You can harness your sexual energy, yes.
To create, manifest anything you want. And in fact, some of the wealthiest people in the world use this technique for that. So we want you to have that in your life. We don't think that should just be relegated to the wealthy. We think everybody should have it, and everybody should be wealthy in every aspect of life. Relationship, in money, in time, in creativity. Yeah. And
so
love.
we welcome you to come to it.
Yeah.
Some of you have been to it already. And so...
and if you know somebody, invite them.
Yeah, if you know somebody who could use it, tell them about it, because we'd love to have them joining us for Extraordinary Lovers Experience, Valentine's Weekend +4.
I mean, if you're going to give somebody a Valentine gift.
Yeah, give them that.
Give them that.
Give them that. I
Yes.
mean, that's like, it's, it's exciting to me because our Beshert is love that manifests.
Love that manifests.
It does. It manifests. It's really good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So maybe there are some questions. I don't know if somebody who's watching has questions for us. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But also, I want to talk about a couple other things we're going to be involved in.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. That's coming up.
So today, in a half hour, in 30 minutes, we're going to be featured in the ISTA Festival online. And we're going to be talking about seduction as a team sport.
Right. And
the tip I got was that more people were signed up for our class than any other class. It was so funny. I didn't look, but someone told me, and I rejoiced. And then next weekend, February 6th and 7th.
That's right.
We're going to be in the Austin Tantra Festival, which is primarily focused on people in Austin, Texas, but anyone's welcome to join that. And I sent you the link to that. You could give people the link to that. And in the Austin Tantra Festival, I'm speaking with Brianna. Brianna and I are presenting on the 6th about sex and happiness, the Tantric Laws of Intimacy, which we're doing this whole weekend, the Sex and Happiness Express.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can still sign up for that. So.
Yeah, you can still sign up for that. We got a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. We're busy beavers. And then on the 7th, on February 7th, Michael and I are presenting.
That's right.
And we're presenting about boundaries. I think we're presenting about boundaries.
Yeah, how boundaries can make your sex lives your intimate.
Or maybe
I think it's boundaries that create intimacy.
I think I think it's that. It could be avoiding. You might have stolen today's show off of what we're doing on February 7th.
No, I
think you did.
I wouldn't do that. I would do. This is the practice run. No, I wouldn't.
I think so. I think it's about it's about avoiding relationship traps. I think that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So today was like the practice run of that.
No, it wasn't. I made this up on my
No,
on the
I
fly,
think subconsciously you knew.
I actually did. I made this up on the fly this morning.
Well, you did great. Anyway, we have a lot of engagements coming up. Mm-hmm. By the way, if you saw our advertisement for Honduras, we need to say, if you saw our advertisement for our couples retreat in Roatan, Honduras, unfortunately, because of the new regulations on COVID, we are not going to be doing that.
Yeah. So
that is canceled until further notice. We have some things scheduled for later in the year, and we'll talk about those later when we see the unfolding of what's going on, at least with the new president of the United States and
his
things
administration.
and things that are happening in Canada and so on. We don't know. And in the UK, we know everything is locked down.
Yeah.
So I just made the decision today. I had something going on in Ireland in September.
Yeah.
And I made the decision today to wait till 2022.
Yeah.
So
the regulations, or the restrictions rather, that have come down from the administration for COVID are too strenuous. They cause more problems
for us.
I mean, they have caused problems in the sense that we simply can't justify going to Roatan.
I know.
It's so sad. I would love to spend it, a month there. It's a gorgeous space.
Oh my goodness, one of the most spectacular spaces we've ever found to do anything.
In the world, it's amazing.
To do any intimate and beautiful work. So we're going to have to revisit that because I don't want to let that go
we're
like
so
forever.
Sorry. Yeah.
I want to go to Honduras.
So do I.
And do it. So.
Well, and one other thing I think that we need to mention is that your book, Sex and Happiness After 60.
Oh yeah, soon. Yeah.
It only gets better. Is going to be released soon. It's going to.
Oh well, that's one of the reasons we're doing the Express this weekend.
That's right.
Because my co-writer is in the course, and we're not together much anymore, so she needed to really hear my voice strongly, so we can do the final edits on the book, and then we're going to have a course called Sex and Happiness Over 60, which will be probably a 7 or 8 week course.
Yeah.
There'll be new laws. I have 7 new laws, but we need to review the first 10 laws. So a lot. I mean, we're pretty productive.
We're super busy.
Yeah. We're very productive people.
Yeah.
And
well, I'm looking forward to that. So
you were looking forward to Sex and Happiness Over 60?
Yeah, well, I'm in the course. I'm going to be in the course.
That's
I'm
right.
not 60 yet, but I am in the course, and part of the reason I'm in the course is because I plan to have sex way beyond 60.
Oh. Are you kidding me? That's not even a question.
I know, right? Look, you either use it or you lose it.
That's right. You use it.
Use it.
And also that'll be co-facilitated by myself, Brianna, and Rich Prittis.
Rich is an amazing man.
And Rich is over 60, and so I asked him if he would help facilitate it. He's also one of my apprentices, and I wanted to give him some shine.
Yeah.
I wanted to have him shine
Yep.
with our audiences. So he's like, yeah. And he said, yeah, there's a lot of things projected on me about being over 60, like people who think I'm this or that, or can't do this or can't do that. He goes, I have a lot to say about that.
That's right.
So he's excited to be with us co-facilitating.
Yeah. And he's a powerful man. He's a very powerful man.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to all of that, and I think we're at a time now where we need to wrap up because we do have to get ready for our next event.
Yeah. We need to take a little potty break.
Yeah. I'm hungry. I need to eat something. So we'll see you next week. And by the way, I want to say it again. Next week our time changes. Our time's going to be from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. So we're moving 2 hours forward in time. So see us here next week from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time. And yes, thank you so much, Chrissy. And we'll have a special guest on next week. And her name is Tanya Keats. She is a coach. She's a life coach. And she's one of our dear friends and also one of Laurie's.
She's been a student of mine in a number of courses, and we're a big fan of hers, and she's a big fan of ours.
Yeah. So we're going to hang out next week and talk with her about life and how things are going and that kind of thing. So it's going to be a really good show. And
let's talk about coaching, so that people know, like, why would you get a coach? Why would anyone ever get a coach?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you need a coach for just
about everything.
Yeah. Life is something that we need coaches for. Like, we need a coach. I've got a business coach.
Just like athletes need coaches. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like athletes need coaches, or else they'd never do it. Yeah. They'd never win the game. They'd never, make the grade if they didn't get coached out of the mind that wants to judge all the time. Mm-hmm. Too much, not enough. Too much, not enough. They don't love me. Mm-hmm. Oh no. Just to break the chatter of the mind.
And it's also really hard. When I played baseball, one of the things that was really hard for me to see was how my swing was coming along. And my coach, he could actually see that and say, you need to lower the trajectory of your bat or something like that, or you need to dip into it a little more. I can't see that. You can't see that. Your coach can see that, and your coach can help you correct.
And they can coach you in business, coach you in relationships, and so on. So Tanya does that, and we're gonna have her on.
We're gonna talk with her.
Yeah.
So Tanya, we love you. We'll see you next week. Everybody else, we'll see you also next week. Thank you so much for being with us on the Extraordinary Lovers TV show. This is a live stream for lovers, and we love you. So for Laurie Handlers, I'm Michael Gibson. We'll see you next week.